Akon. Did you know that he was exceptional when you first met him, or is this something that y'all developed him into?
Yeah, when I first met him, I think when I first heard him, not when I first met him, when I first heard him, he had came to my studio to rent out some space just so I could hear him.
Okay.
And when I heard his tone of his voice, I knew right away that the kid has something.
Okay. That gap though, between the time you met him, going up there to Clive, and finally getting him his deal. What was that little period like, trying to make it happen?
But that was rough, man. That was in a van, going around city to city, promoting records. I mean, this way before signing a deal with Universal SRC. It was like, he was a part of a camp that I had called FA, which was all these rappers, which were called Free Agent.
Yeah.
I also, a part of Free Agent, Meathead was a part of Free Agent as well. Yeah, for people that don't know, that's Future. So he was a part of that too. So I had created this down south like Wu-Tang.
That's crazy.
So I would take them all over. I would take my money from development, invest it back into their careers, recording studios and everything, and take them on the road. Go to all the record pools, all the performance, did all the groundwork. Yeah, man. Way before a deal, we had already started laying the foundation.
When he got that deal, how did y'all pull that off though?
Well, it was rough, man, because a lot of people didn't believe in an African in America.
Damn.
Yeah,
that is crazy, because when Akon came out, I was like, how did this African get in America? You know, that's crazy. I forgot about that whole part right there. It's just normal now.
I caught it, man. I caught it. It was
my God.
They, a lot of people was like, what is this, man? Is the kid Jamaican? Is it Jamaican? Like they couldn't identify with it. Yeah. And so they would shoot it down.
Damn.
Yeah, they would shoot it down. I kind of went to pretty much every record exec. I remember playing it for Puff. I played it for Puff, and Puff was like, I don't hear it.
Damn.
Played it for Tommy Mottola, and then I ended up calling a good friend of mine by the name of Bernard Alexander. At the time, I think he was managing EPMD, and he came to the house. And I played him the music, and he was like, yo, just give me a week, I'll come back with something. So gave him the music. He went back to New York, and he said, I got something. And I think the first deal was gonna be with Barry Hankson over at Blackground, and he brought that offer to the table, and then he turned around and said, well, what about Steve Rifkin? I think he got with Kenny Burns, and Kenny Burns at the time was running around in New York working for Rockefeller.
Yeah.
And Kenny had a situation with Rifkin. So then they actually, Bernard and Kenny walked it into Steve's office, played the music, and Steve was like, I want to do the deal. Then they came to Atlanta, came to my house in the hood, in Fourth Ward, in Fourth Ward in the hood. Yeah. And I played him the music, and as soon as he walked in, this is what he saw. He saw Candy and Tiny downstairs writing, because Candy was was signed to me at one point. Yeah. Usher was at the house. Eric Sermon was in the house. And when Universal came down, that's what they saw. I saw a house with superstars and talent being developed.
Exactly.
And then Akon played his music, and man, right then and there, we did the deal.
What was that like after all of those years of grinding, having your solo success with your own artists that you had developed from scratch, and crossing that finish line, getting that deal?
It was just like I just got job application completed, and it felt like I just now got a job.
Damn.
Yeah. It felt like the application was completed. We qualified, we checked out, and I looked at it, we looked over it, and was like, man, you about to get 14 cents on the dollar. It's time to go to work. And I was like, man, roll up your sleeves. And I think the deal at the time was, I think couldn't have been no more than 175. I think we made the album for 75,000.
My God.
Yeah, made the album for 75,000 after we paid, attorney fees. Yeah, it was time to go to work.
When that album dropped, what was it like when that single caught fire and you realized that you had
Well,
something?
when not when the album dropped, when the single dropped, they dropped Belly Dancer, which I knew was the wrong record. So me and Akon was having dialogue about, they wanted a bigger commercial record off the top, and I kept telling him, I said, nah, that's not gonna work. So while they was doing that, I was actually pressing up Locked Up. So I still stayed down to my independent the way I was really grinding.
Yeah.
So I pressed up Locked Up and started distributing that. Akon and one of the promoters that worked for SRC, name was Gabi. They ended up going on the road and working the record, working the street record.
Yeah.
While Universal was trying to make Belly Dancer pop. So Belly Dancer never really reached the success that they thought it would make, but Locked Up kind of grew in the streets and in the jail systems, and man, the rest is history.
Okay, so with Belly Dancer not doing what it was supposed to do from a label standpoint, did you feel any pressure to make sure that Locked Up went? Because a lot of times I hear with artists, they say that first single, if it don't do what it's supposed to, then the label try to turn it back on you and you're trying to figure out what to do next.
Yeah,
But when you already prepared for that by pushing Locked Up.
Yeah, I was prepared. I was more like, I knew that wasn't the record, but we had to go with it because we knew that was the money record, right? And we knew that they wanted their money back. So that was the business aspect of it. But at the end of the day, I also knew that we needed a foundation.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't called Convict. Convict wasn't even created. Convict became the production theme around Locked Up when the record took off.